If you hate all the buzzwords that have been in vogue since Bitcoin became a thing, words like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the metaverse, blockchain, and especially NFTs, then you were just like me 4 months ago. Like the host said, I'm a digital artist and I've been drawing for as long as I can remember, really. And all the Nigerians in here can imagine how the conversation went when I told my parents I wanted to be a digital artist and not a lawyer or doctor. The first commission I ever got was from a friend, and it was just before I got into uni. And he was going to pay me 5,000 naira, which is roughly $8. He hasn't paid me, but that's a story for another TEDx talk. My next big break came when I won €1,000 in 2017 at a comic competition. And as you can imagine, I was on top of the world. And that was when I knew that drawing was my calling. I've been in the NFT space for 4 months now, and it's safe to say it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I have gone from chasing and hounding Nigerian clients to pay me work they signed off on and commissioned to having people on the internet, people I'll probably never meet in my life, willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for work like this, work I made while I was bored. So, what are NFTs? NFT is short for non-fungible tokens. And to really explain it, I need to explain what fungibility means. So let's use a classic example, which is money. And another classic example, if you've ever entered a bus going from K to Tojota, let's assume you're in a bus going from K to Tojota, and you need to collect your change. In this case, it's 15 naira. Your conductor could either give you one 15 naira note, or it could give you two 20 naira notes and one 10 naira note. What has happened here is that you're receiving the same value, regardless of how the conductor decides to give you your change. Yes, you're getting 15 naira no matter what. That's exactly what fungibility means. Because if I have 1,000 naira up with me on stage and I have two 500 naira notes, it's the same value. Money isn't unique; it has the same value across board. A non-fungible item, on the other hand, it's something that is unique. It's a one of one. It's a masterpiece. It's something you can only find in one part of the world. Something like me, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Although digital art is at the forefront of what most people might think NFTs are, the list of things that can be NFTs in the future are virtually endless. From the shirt you have on, from your shoes, your pants, even the TEDx tags you have on right now, they could all be NFTs. NFTs aren't exactly new. They've been around since 2014, if I'm not wrong. But I recently heard about them this year. And it's thanks to all my followers. Shout out to you people. I'm very, very proud of my work, and I've been pushing out a lot of art this year. And every time I put out an illustration, I always get NFT this bro comments or put this up in the metaverse. You should be making a lot of money. And of course, as a proper Nigerian who has seen the damage who has seen the damage Ponzi schemes have done in the country, I was very skeptical. So what I did, because it just felt too good to be true. There's no way someone will be willing to pay $3,000 for a work of mine. I just didn't see. I didn't value myself that much. So what I did was I came up with a game plan. And my game plan was to just list 10 of my illustrations as NFTs. But I am glad to announce that 4 months later, with over 1,000 illustrations and more than half of that number sold, I'm not going to be retiring anytime soon. Thank you. So, to explain how NFTs work, and to explain exactly how this illustration is what $3,000, or why this illustration is unique and why anyone wants to pick this, when basically anyone in this room can go to any of my social media handles, right click and download this image. I need to talk about the metaverse. But to talk about the metaverse, let's talk about the physical and digital world as we know it, and the invisible barrier that lies between. In today's world, to own an item, you just don't search on the internet, right click, and save it. Imagine if you wanted to buy a house in Banana Island, and all you had to do was just search, save the image, and boom, the house is yours. To actually own an item in today's world, you need to physically either have the item in your hand or have evidence that this item is yours. In that world, if we lived in a world where we could actually save images, I would be up on stage with two cars and hopefully Beyonce and Rihanna on both sides. But no, we live in a world where you actually have to purchase these items and have them in your physical possession. The metaverse is breaking this barrier, and for the first time ever, you actually live in a world where you can claim ownership on digital products. And to further explain what the metaverse is, I will use another classic example: video games. I'm sure a lot of us here are familiar with video games. And if you are an avid gamer like myself and you play adventure games, you're no stranger to how games have universes of their own. In a game, you could be a boss, you could have like fleets of cars, have everything you want to own. Or in reality, you're a 9 to 5 worker like myself and you're worried about Monday traffic tomorrow. So you really do not own these items. But thanks to the metaverse and NFTs, you can actually now claim ownership to digital products. You can think of the metaverse as a game. Only difference is now when you buy a product in the metaverse, you actually own it and it has value in the real world. And what that means for artists like myself is that you can finally create scarcity. If you're a musician in the house, imagine your next album, you want to make it have just 100 copies, and you want to give 100 copies to your most loyal fans. And if you're not an artist, just think about your favorite song right now. Just that one song you feel like whoever recorded it was thinking about you. The one you sing about when you're in the shower. Imagine just being the only person that owns that song in the entire world. The barrier between the digital and physical world, like I spoke about, has been broken thanks to NFTs and thanks to the metaverse. Now, to explain how the metaverse works, I need to talk about blockchain for a bit. But before we talk about blockchain, let's talk about something we're all familiar with: the internet. A lot of us have our favorite tech startups and our favorite apps, and we all know that at the core, no matter how different these apps are or tech startups are, they have the internet at their core. They all need the internet to work. It's the same, almost the same as the blockchain, but the only difference is that whereas someone or some president can claim to switch off the internet and no one can do anything about it, no one owns the blockchain. The blockchain is decentralized and it's owned by the public. In fact, it's run by tens of thousands of computers across the world. So what that means is this artwork that anybody can save and claim as theirs, in the blockchain, it's just owned by one person. So when you purchase this artwork from me, in the blockchain, it's registered to you. So you can think of the blockchain as a digital repository or database, and everything crypto is tied to the blockchain, from your Bitcoin to your Dogecoin to your NFTs. Everything you own is tied to the blockchain. I have gone on to have two exhibitions and I've worked with a few big brands. So I am in no way a starving artist. But the impact NFTs have had in my life, I really do not have the words to qualify them. A few months ago, I collaborated with an African American artist, and together we created 200 illustrations. We sold out within a month, and I would tell you how much we made, but it's Christmas spirit, and I don't want anyone following me home. But just to give you a bit of perspective, I have gone from charging 5,000 naira for illustrations to listing one illustration for $3,000 in today's world. So I bet most of you are wondering exactly how NFTs work. It's pretty simple. If you're an artist, the first thing you need to do is create a digital wallet. And you can think of your digital wallet as an actual wallet. This saves all your crypto assets, or all your digital assets in this case, from your Bitcoin to your Ethereum to your NFTs. And once you have your wallet created, you need to go to one of the many marketplaces available to put up your NFTs. You pay a token to these marketplaces and they put your work on the blockchain. And once your work is on the blockchain, anyone from anywhere, from around the world, can pick up your assets, can pick up your NFT and just sell. And if you're an art lover and you can't draw, if you're not as talented as us, you can go to these same marketplaces and pick up an illustration or any digital asset from your favorite creative and then sell them. Imagine what has been happening in the real world, where the value of the Mona Lisa probably isn't the same value it has at this present day. So you can pick up an NFT for what, 50 naira, and because you are who you are, and when you're big, you can sell it for 1 million naira. And the artists, of course, you get royalties from this sale. The NFT space is an area of untapped value, low barrier, low access barrier, and it's opening the world to a global market that before NFTs came through was controlled by a select few individuals who have managed to keep and limit access to this market. So much so that digital artists like myself are finally getting the acknowledgement and recognition we deserve by the otherwise closed off traditional art sector. And even this year, at one of the premier art exhibitions, they finally let us hang with the big boys and they let us put up our work. I'm not mentioning names, but if you know, you know. NFTs are the future, and as we all know, Nigeria they carry last. There are lots of Nigerians making their mark in the NFT space, from people like Don Jazzy, Inkore, Ni Okewo, Anthony Azekwo, Adana. The list is endless. And the good news is there's room for each and every single person in this room to join the metaverse and join the NFT space. And like we say in the NFT world, WAGMI, which is short for "We're all going to make it." Thank you.